everybody, this is SaberX and welcome back to another Beasts of the Mesozoic series review. And today we are going to be looking at the 1/35th scale special edition Walking with Dinosaurs Tyrannosaurus Rex by Creative Beast Studio and David Silva as part of the Tyrannosaurs series of action figures. So here we are. There it is. And before we take a look at this magnificent figure, let's take a quick look at the packaging for it, shall we? So here we have our Beasts of the Mesozoic T-Rex 1/35th scale box with this absolutely gorgeous image of the Walking with Dinosaurs Tyrannosaurus standing proud over the Edmontosaurus, aka another Titan, for those of you who have seen the original Walking with Dinosaurs from 1999, like I have. So if you remember this, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, watch the scene. I mean, it's intense and it's amazing. Now, yeah, this is absolutely one of my favorites. Favorites. And, yeah, and of course, on the back, we have the beautiful range of figures for this. And I must say, I really love what they did with the box itself. It is a beautiful homage to the original Walking with Dinosaurs toy line. If you don't know about that, Walking with Dinosaurs did create their own little set of figures. They were static in regards to poses, but they were absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, this is an amazing homage to it. I mean, this right here, this is an absolutely a homage to the original Walking with Dinosaurs series, what you saw in the end credits. And of course, in the beginning of the book. And I do have the Walking with Dinosaurs book. So, yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot. On the back, of course, you also get the obligatory product shots of the other Beasts of the Mesozoic Wave 1 Tyrannosaurs, of which there are 5 in total. The 130... Actually, 6 in total. Sorry. I keep forgetting to count the one I'm reviewing. But, yeah, you get the 1/35th and 1/18th scale T-Rex, D-Long, the juvenile T-Rex, Guanlong, and Eutyrannus, all of which I will be reviewing in a couple weeks' time once they arrive at the end of February. And the reason I have not made this video until now is to provide you guys with a little filler until those figures arrive, because they want it. The people at the factory where these are made wanted to just perfect the paint jobs on the actual figures before they release them to the customers like myself, who would be collecting and playing and posing them. Just absolutely wonderful that they decided to do that, just to make sure that the quality of their products are well maintained. Yeah, and of course we also have inside the box this beautiful, very dark, I don't know if you can see it because it is kind of cloudy in there, but there is a beautiful dark background diorama cardboard backing piece, and also inside these, also inside the box, of course, forgive me, also inside the box, of course, is the ever so important group of instructions for adhering the tail to the body. What you have to do is heat it up with a hot air with a hot hair dryer or very, very hot water, and then you pop the tail into the ball and socket. Don't try to force it while the plastic is cool, because you could end up breaking your figure that way. And it also gives you instructions for posing the legs as well. And it also, of course, it also, of course, gives you the other instructions. Yeah. Now, I'm working with the 1/35th scale instructions right here, but it's basically the same thing. But where it says that the little piece on the base has an H-clip in it, that is not true for this base for the diorama of the T-Rex itself for the 1/35th scale. This is, much smaller, and therefore it does not need to be split apart for better poses and whatnot for the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But going back to the figure itself, you also get this beautiful card that goes with it. And of course, the art was by Raul Ramos, who did a lot of work for the Ceratopsian line. And of course, you get your obligatory product shot and information on the back. So there you have that. Now let's look at the figure. So here is our gorgeous, gorgeous 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex. And as you can see, this thing is spectacular. Now, this is a Kickstarter exclusive figure only. This particular color scheme for the T-Rex you will not find anywhere else these days. If you didn't get it via backer kit, if you didn't get it via the Kickstarter campaign, I should say, you're out of luck, because this is limited to only the Kickstarter campaign, just like the Monoclonius was, and this thing is, it's basically limited edition. You're not going to get any more like this. But I am really, really glad that I got him and the Dino Riders T-Rex. They are absolutely fantastic. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you just how he scales with a couple of these other figures as well. Just absolutely glorious. Now, in addition to this little plastic display base, which you can peg him to via these little sockets on his feet, like so. And these are really, really tight, so gotta be very, very careful. So you can pose him just like that, if you so choose to, but I personally like to display him standing flat like this. And I'm not gonna lie. He is actually more stable without this plastic base than he is with it, which is a little unusual for these figures, but I honestly think he is much more stable when he's standing with his feet firmly on the ground instead of on a base than he would be otherwise. Now, he has beautiful articulation, 22 points specifically, and you can move his jaws, his tongue, just like with the big T-Rex, only it's harder to do because he's just a smaller figure overall, and this is actually really hard on my nails. It's gonna hurt my fingers if I do it, but his tongue can move. It's on a ball and socket joint, very tightly and very stiff in there. His jaws do open and close, like so. His head moves, and so does his neck, about this much. Somewhat limited mobility in regards to the neck, but he can also move it up about this far and down to about here. So again, fairly limited mobility, but very, very beautiful looking figure. And I know some people are not happy about this hood, but it doesn't really bother me. But he does have articulation in his arms. Very, very small. Very, very small arms. There is no articulation in the wrist like what you would see with the 1/18th T-Rex, because this is just a very small figure. If someone was to put ball joints or swivel joints in this, it would end up breaking the figure, and nobody wants that. So, yeah. His arms do have some movement at the shoulder, about this much, I would say, and this far forward. So, yeah, his arms are not the most mobile, but I really just like him as is. And very, very good. I think it's very, very good. I love the detail work on this Tyrannosaurus. I mean, this literally, I am staring at what is basically a flashback to my childhood, when I used to watch Walking with Dinosaurs for hours at a time on weekends when I was a kid, and even into my teen years until the VHS tape that I had recorded it on got packed away. I'm still looking for it, actually, but I have a pretty good idea. I know where it is. But, yeah. Going back to the figure itself, the torso moves up and down about this much, and side to side it is limited to about this much because of the hips and the legs, but I still really, really think it's beautifully done. And yeah, you could probably pose it a little bit more if you just manipulate the hips a little, but yeah, the legs themselves do get in the way of that, more or less. But yeah, his up and down movement is very, very nice. So you can have him look pretty far down when you just kind of bend him down like this and have him look up. And I love it. I really do. I love it. Now, he does have articulation in the knees of his standing legs, but I'm not going to play with them very much on video because the friction joints in these knees are very, very stiff, and if I don't align them properly, he has problems standing up, if they're not aligned right. So I try to keep them as straight as possible, but I will briefly show you just a little bit. Again, these are really, really stiff, so I'm not going to push it too much, but yeah, he can bend his legs back about that far, about this far forward, and I just kind of like to keep it like that. Now, in the hips, he also can move about that far forward, that far back. Again, I'm not really going to mess with that very much because his joints are very, very stiff, and I don't want to accidentally knock him off balance because sometimes he can be kind of hard to rebalance again. But the tail can move up about this much, and there's a wire in the tip so you can actually look at this, so you can actually pose it in different manners. So I like to have it like that because it looks more dynamic and it also looks more realistic. But the tail can move side to side, it can move right and left, and all three segments can move up and down. So he's got quite a range of motion in that tail. So very, very happy with that. And he also comes with a couple of accessories in addition to his base, which I will show you now. Now, I'm going to bring the base in because I really want you to see this, but in addition to his standing legs, you can actually pop them off like so, and this is kind of tight, but pops out nicely, as you can see. Nice little ball and socket. And then if you gently pop this in like so, I do this very, very carefully because I don't want to mess it up too much. Now I'm gonna bend the leg back like so, stick this onto the socket nice and snug. And there you have it. His extra set of legs can be posed however you want to make him move. And I would not recommend keeping him posed like this for very long. He becomes very unstable and he will eventually fall off these pegs in such a pose. I've had it happen, but if I was to put a time on how long he lasted before he fell over in a position like this, I would say it was a good 12 hours at least. But yeah, just very, very a long time for it to stay posed like that before it fell over. Now, you can also switch this out with another set of legs. Now, I'm going to take this leg back off and show you with the other one as well, because I really like the different legs you can choose for T-Rex. Yeah. And as long as he's stable, yeah, you're pretty good. Now, I'm going to take this other leg off, like this. And they just pop nicely out. Yeah. And going to put in one of his running feet, which is held off the ground like so. And now we gently put him back on. And again, his feet are really tight and hard to put into this, but there you have it. Running T-Rex. Magnificent. Absolutely magnificent, isn't it? Yeah. But again, I would not leave him in poses like this because, yeah, he is very unstable in such a pose and he cannot last longer than 12 hours like this before he starts to fall over or come off the sockets. Yeah, I mean off the pegs. I can't talk today. But putting this back on like so. Yeah, putting that back on and showcasing him like that. You also get, in addition to this, other sets of hinged feet. Well, of posable feet. You get these flat feet like so for both of them. Yeah. And they are very, very detailed. I mean, look at this. You, of course, get the running feet, one of which I've already attached to the leg. And the knees on these are pretty tight, too. Again, these are friction joints for that leg. But the ankle on the jointed feet also moves, as does the foot itself. It has swivel because it's on a ball joint. And once these pop in, they are very, very tight. The tough part is actually getting them on because they are so tightly fitting. But yeah, you get the running toes, you get mid-step toes, and of course the flat-footed walking feet. But yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic figure. Now, in regards to size, this bad boy is about 14 inches long, which makes him about the same size as the beasts of the Mesozoic raptors. And if you'll bear with me for a second, I am going to get one of those raptors and a couple of other figures for you to compare sizes with him. So stay tuned. So now that I have gathered every figure I wanted to compare this beautiful 1/35th T-Rex to, let's take a quick look at how long it is. So, this figure is roughly about 14 inches, maybe a little more if the tail was completely straight. And at the top of the head, he's just about 5.5 inches is high. And that's without the base. He would probably be about 6 inches high with the base underneath. But let's compare him to a few figures of comparable scale. So here is the 1/18th Zuniceratops for scale with this 1/35th Tyrannosaurus. And that's pretty good in regards to scale if this was a smaller ceratopsian that actually was supposed to be of comparable size to a T-Rex. But again, this is much smaller than a T-Rex actually would be. For better size comparison, here it is with the 1/18th scale subadult Triceratops, aka the 1/35th scale adult Triceratops. And you can see they are perfectly aligned in size to one another. This is actually how big T-Rex is compared to a Triceratops. And yeah, I have been wanting to pose these figures together like this for a while now, but now that I have them, we can actually get some great poses out of them. And yeah, it's gonna look fantastic making these two dinosaurs actually fight. So I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of photography with these later. But also for comparison in size, here is the 1/6 scale Dromaeosaurus as an example of a raptor that is of similar size to this T-Rex. And as you can see, he's pretty dang large. Yeah, this would actually be more to scale with a Dakota Raptor and a juvenile T-Rex in regards to size comparison. And when we get the juvenile T-Rex, when I get the juvenile Tyrannosaurus Rex in, I'm going to show you that. Yeah, because everyone's waiting for these figures. They're gonna again, as I said, the Wave 1 figures for the juvenile T-Rex, Utyrannus, and D-Long, and Gualong, they're all coming in late February, like close to the end of the month, early March at the latest. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic having them all together, and I can't wait to show you those off to you. Now, price-wise, the 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex is itself it's a figure that generally runs in average of like $65, maybe $70. I got the pre-order version for $65, but yeah, the 1/35th scale T-Rex is definitely the one you want if you're on a tight budget and you really want a T-Rex figure. This is definitely the way to go. The mainline version of this figure is based off the color of the earless monitor lizard, so it's a very different color scheme from that of the Walking with Dinosaurs T-Rex we love so much. But it's absolutely fantastic nevertheless. And if you do have, if you were lucky enough to get the 1/35th T-Rex in the Walking with Dinosaurs color scheme, and you also decide you want to get the other color scheme for the mainline version of the figure, I say go for it, because you could basically have these be like male and female, or different color schemes from the same population, like melanistic animals and normal color, and yeah, absolutely fantastic. Now, I am also going to be getting the gray 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm going to be doing that not long after I finish receiving the Wave 1 figures, because I want to make sure I save up enough for the paints that I require to actually make it in the color scheme that I have planned. And I will be doing an entire video on that. So please stay tuned for that. I am really, really looking forward to sharing that with you. Now, I have said a lot about Tyrannosaurus Rex in my previous video on the 1/18th scale, but again, this is one of the most amazing dinosaurs that is out there. This is a figure, well, this is a dinosaur that we all know and love, and we're still learning so much more about it. It is by far one of, if not the heaviest predatory dinosaur that we know of at the present. The largest individuals, Sue and Scotty, that we have specimens for, probably were about probably weighed about 9.5 to almost 10 tons. Yeah, so that's a big animal. That's heavier than the current specimens we have for Giganotosaurus, for Carcharodontosaurus, and definitely heavier than the even longer Spinosaurus. But yeah, this is a dinosaur that, yeah, it basically breaks records in all respect. It has the most powerful bite of any large predator that lived on land throughout history. There were animals that had stronger bite forces, like Deinosuchus and, of course, Megalodon, the giant shark. But yeah, T-Rex is the largest land-living carnivore that had the strongest bite of any animal to walk the earth. and I mean literally walk. But yeah, it's an animal of extremes. But more than that, it is also a very, very hardy animal that existed, even if it was for a relatively short time compared to other dinosaurs. It was exceedingly successful. I mean, no other predator had such an extreme change in regards to gracile juvenile to robust adult. It's just amazing. This animal was built to occupy multiple different niches as it grew up, so that it would not compete with its young. Now, we don't know if T-Rex cared for its young, as I've said in previous videos, but it's possible that they did for a time. It's also possible that they could have easily just left their eggs and didn't give them any parental care. Nobody's quite sure yet, because we don't have enough specimens of baby tyrannosaurs. Again, it's possible, but we won't know until we have more evidence. We do know they might have laid soft-shelled eggs, according to certain fossils from various relatives that were discovered about 2 years ago. We don't know exactly what species of tyrannosaur they were from, but they were definitely from one of the earlier tyrannosaurs, like Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, or Daspletosaurus. But, yeah, just amazing how these animals grew. And these animals were growing at a rate of putting on 5 pounds a day in regards to when they were feeding. And when they did not have enough food, Tyrannosaurus actually had the unique ability to apparently halt its growth until food became more plentiful so it didn't starve itself to death. A very unique and fascinating trait, which personally I don't know if other animals are capable of doing that in modern times. Possibly some of the dinosaurs' relatives, like crocodiles, might be able to do that, but I've never seen anything like that personally myself in regards to the many animals I know about. But it's fascinating to think about. And more than that, yeah, this is an animal that went after all sorts of different prey. It was going after Edmontosaurus and other hadrosaurs. It was going after Triceratops and Torosaurus and Ankylosaurus. Pretty much nothing was off limits to an adult Tyrannosaurus rex in its environment. And in the southwestern part of its range, it was even targeting large sauropods like Alamosaurus. Yeah, just an amazing creature. And yeah, just absolutely out of this world. Yeah, this is basically the apex predator among all the dinosaurs. I admit I'm a little biased on T-Rex, but it is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. And I am super, super thankful that David, with all his creative skills, gave us the chance to actually have a Walking with Dinosaurs T-Rex, which we all voted for on his poll for what color scheme he should use for the special edition T-Rex when he was actually he's still planning the Tyrannosaurs. We took the poll on Facebook on his community page, and yeah, the response was overwhelming. So we got our Walking with Dinosaurs T-Rex. It was absolutely fantastic. We got we got the most incredible thing, and yeah, I'm just in awe of it. And if you want the 1/35th scale figure, I definitely recommend getting it. You can get it either at Creative Beast Studio, which is the website that David actually sells his figures on, or you can actually pick it up at everythingdinosaur.uk if you live outside the US. And of course, if you do live in the US, you can also get it at bigbadtoystore.com. And yeah, if you are on a budget and you want a T-Rex, this is no doubt the one for you. I mean, there are other Tyrannosaurs that are going to be coming in the line, but if you want T-Rex itself, this is it. The 1/35th scale, if you're on a budget and you cannot afford or are really nervous about getting the 1/18th scale T-Rex, this might be the one for you. It really is fantastic, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It's amazing. So this is SaberX signing off, saying, you're never too old to play with toys. Be a toy nerd, be proud of it. Thank you, and have a good day. Good night, everyone.